for another episode of the 12-Man Fan Jam Show, a show made by 12s from around the world for 12s from around the world. I'm Mosette, and here's your host, and my dad, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Allen Church of Seahawk Positivity.
Yes, welcome everyone to another wonderful edition of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show. I am your self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Allen Church of Seahawk Positivity, and this is episode 1220, the Rams review and the season review, I guess, for the 2024 season. So do us all a favor, put your tray tables up, put your seats back in the full upright position, grab a desired sin or beverage of your choice. Please make sure your arms and legs are inside the podcast at all times. And what can I tell you? Why are we wearing beanies? I don't know why we're wearing beanies. We're just wearing beanies, that's why.
Why not?
Why not?
It's cold.
It's beanie night.
Yeah,
a couple guys wearing beanies, so the rest of us succumb to the peer pressure to wear beanies for the show. So it's a beanie show.
They're weak.
Yeah, 1220 beanie edition. Show. Alongside me, of course, is the 12-Man Fan Jam Show posse. That is Matt from Merry Old England. Hi, Matt.
Good morning, Moses. How are you?
Oh, wonderful. How are you doing?
I'm not too bad, actually. The snow's gone here now, so we're sort of warming things up again. We're getting back to normal. But I hear you've had 10 inches this weekend so far.
Well, 6 inches on Monday and 4 inches today.
And boy, is he sore.
Very familiar story to me.
5 times.
I also want a big shout out to Canada, who obviously are about to be invaded by America. That's really bad news for them.
It's revenge for the War of 1812.
Yeah, about time we got around to it.
Operation Leaf Blower.
Can I just say I just love that? I love the statement that borders are just random lines on a map. Apparently, yeah, they're kind of still important though.
Yeah, it's still all about that Terrence and Phillip movie. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Yeah. Operation Leaf Blowers.
What would Brian Boitano do?
It's a good question.
We can't give them slack for giving us Loverboy. All right. Yeah, we're all just working for the weekend, but we can't give them slack for that.
And Rush.
And Rush. And the Canadians on South Park.
Terrence and Phillip.
Terrence and Phillip. Thank you. Yeah.
And
Hey, call me friend, buddy.
So the one who knew that
Hi.
answer is, of course, that's Dustin down there. Hi, Dustin.
Hey, how you doing?
Great. How are you?
I'm good. That was sick Sunday through like Tuesday, so that was fun.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, luckily I had Wednesday off work because that was my birthday. Had that off, so I just hang out and recovered, and yeah, feeling back to normal now, so that's good.
Glad to hear it. Happy birthday. That was this week.
Thank you.
And the day after, or was it the day before, Will?
Day before.
And the day before was Will's birthday, and there's Will. Hi, Will.
Hi, Moses. How are you?
Good. Happy birthday to you as well.
Thank you. That's 48 trips around the sun and counting.
Good. Good for you. You'll catch up to me someday, but I don't know when.
Not anytime soon.
Hopefully not anytime soon. Yeah. Anything going on out there, Will?
No, actually, it's just been interesting talk about the Seahawks of late and wondering the next moves we're going to make.
Yeah, that's what we'll talk about a little bit in this show. In fact, let's talk about how this show is formatted, shall we?
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, 12-Man Fan Jam Show format. This show is still 4 quarters and a halftime, just like a real NFL football game. The first quarter, we have some Seahawk news to talk about. Will's going to guide us through that. Maybe some other news as well. Quarter 2, we will update. We review last week's final game of the season against the Rams, Seahawk victory. And the halftime, it is the award nominations for our annual 12-Man Fan Jam Show award show, and I'll tell you when that's going to be. And that's our season finale. This is our finale for the Seahawks, but our personal series finale will be after the Super Bowl. And when we do that, we used to call them the Mosies, now we call them the Fan Jammies, which I think is better. The Fan Jammies, which will be an award show that you won't want to miss. So more details on that at halftime. Quarter 3, we're going to grade the Seahawks. I'm going to give you a position or give you a topic, and you're going to grade it A through F on that. And quarter 4 is your favorite memory from the season as we go into what is the finale, not really the season finale for us, but the wrap-up show for the 2024 NFL season. Seahawks season. We want to remind you We are on the social medias. We're on Twitter or X at 12-Man Fan Jam Show. You will find us on TikTok at 12-Man Fan Jam Show. Great game day threads, which now we don't have, but we're going to have some fun over the off season, some polls, some pictures to caption, and some other fun things, I'm sure. You can email us at 12manfanjamshow@gmail.com. And, of course, the YouTube channel, Seahawk Positivity. We've got outtakes. We've got all of our shows, 12 seasons worth of shows on that thing, and some other little specials on there as well. So before we do that, we do want to remind you that our schedule, we have one more episode in this season. It's 12/21. It will be our season finale, and it will be the Fan Jammy Awards. And it will be the weekend of February 15th after Valentine's Day. So after you go out to Valentine's Day and you have Valentine's dinner and you take your favorite significant other out and have a good time, that next night
Your favorite significant other.
Your favorite significant other, mind you. Not
leave
just
the second favorite one at home.
Hey, to each their own. I don't hate the player, I hate the game. But after that next night, maybe, or a couple nights later, you can all like there's more of you, can gather around the TV and watch our show to celebrate the end of
not judging.
No, we're not judging. And what we're going to do now is we're going to turn it over to first quarter and news. Yes, news around the NFL. It is our 12-Man Fan Jam Show news report with our favorite Shadowhawk and news hound, Will. Will, what you got for us?
Well, Moses, the Seahawks kicked off the offseason with a bang.
They did.
As, I was seeing a fair amount of speculation. I wasn't sure if it was going to happen, but of course, Seattle offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb turned out to be one and done.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people looked at this offense, the way things started the season, then the way things ended, and thought that we could have done a lot better. And there is actually an article that came out on SI.com. If you haven't seen it, it's well worth a look. But talking about some of the things that happened this season, and things really started to go wrong in the Giants game, which of course we inexplicably lost, and they didn't lose another game for more than 2 months after they beat us at home. But we came out with a pass heavy game plan against their talented edge rushers. Team source said, quote, "He thought he was facing Stanford or something. His confidence in his quarterback wasn't misguided, but he took one of our best players out of the game, K9, with his own stubbornness." So, and then, the team struggled for a while, and then it looked like they were getting back on track. And then the Packers game happened. Geno Smith gets hurt. Sam Howell comes in. Grubb calls 12 straight pass plays when you have a backup quarterback behind a shaky offensive line. We all know how well that went.
Yeah.
Howell looked amazing.
And then
he looked spectacular.
Then the Vikings game, we were driving down the field, and we were down by 3, got to the 37-yard line. McDonald, according to this article, McDonald wanted to start bleeding the clock and get into field goal range, force the Vikings to use their timeouts. Grubb called a pass play out of shotgun. Geno took the sack. We got essentially booted out of field goal range. And basically, according to this team source, the writing was on the wall the second Seattle was eliminated from the playoffs. Quote, "disillusioned and incompatible. There wasn't any other decision that could be made by Mike." So,
wow.
There are things that worked this season in Mike McDonald's first year, and there are things that definitely did not work. And
we'll talk about that for sure.
In the latter category.
I think we all felt like offensively something had to be done. What are your initial thoughts on this, Matt? Something had to be done, right?
Look, it was too. I just think the job was too big for him. I just think it was. He had lots of. And don't get me wrong, this isn't all on Grubb because he's got other issues as well. He has an offensive line that acts like a colander, like a sieve, for crying out loud. So, some of the ways he's limited in what he can do with what's going on with that offensive line, and we must invest more in the offensive line, especially if we're keeping Geno. So, I think there are some other issues there for him. However, as You know, I don't know. I think we've rushed about 35% of our plays or something like that as well. If you want to play complementary style football, that's what Mike McDonald's always been talking about, the fact that he wants to play complementary football, you have to be able to do that. And I don't think that was happening in under Grubb. He was playing a very different game to the head coach, I think. But I do think it was too big for him. I think all of us could feel, you know, I'm not suggesting that all of this is on Grubb. I think sometimes if Gino's having a bad day, then the whole team is going to have a bad day. Offensive line was poor, but the job was too big for him. I think it's right that he had a go. I think it's right that he's been fired, and I look forward to somebody coming in who's going to also play complementary football.
Well done. Well said, Dustin.
Yeah, I think when Grubb got hired, a lot of people were kind of enamored with how the UW offense worked when they went to the championship game and all that. And they're expecting kind of a high-flying offense, a lot of throws, a lot of passes. You know, you had Gino, who had some decent years with Seattle leading up to that. You had Tyler Lockett. You had
JSN.
Yeah, JSN. That's what. For some reason, the initials were hard. I couldn't come up with them.
ABC.
Yeah, and Metcalf
to choose from.
Yeah, Metcalf. You had and some tight ends that they thought that could, you know, really be a part of the offense, and everybody was enamored with that. They were hoping that would happen, and I think Grubb was enamored with that himself. I think he liked the weapons and couldn't go away from the shiny things that he liked.
Yeah,
and
I think so too.
It hurt the running game. I mean, it hurt the offense as a whole. The offensive line just was not up to any NFL standard, honestly. Was not good. And it was just a setup for disaster. And he didn't adapt very well. He didn't. And it's probably, you know, I mean, you have a first-year head coach in the NFL. I wasn't as worried about the defense because he was a defensive coordinator in the NFL already. So our defensive coordinator, to me, was just a figurehead, like, you know, the King of England, just somebody that's there. Doesn't really do much.
Let me tell you now, you do not want to start talking about heads of state. Right. Let me tell you right now.
No doubt.
Right. But offensively, Grubb had never done it. He brought in somebody who'd never done it before at the NFL level. I think he would have been better suited bringing in somebody who had success as a play caller, offensive play caller at the NFL level. And I think the season would have looked a lot different. So honestly, a lot of that's Grubb's fault, what happened. But ultimately, that is Mike McDonald's fault. And I think he's going to learn from that. He should have set himself up for success. And he brought in somebody that wasn't ready for the job. And he didn't recognize that they weren't ready.
I would make the point that if this was a 3-14 team, if we were rebuilding from scratch,
I was going to ask that.
It might have been worth giving Grubb another year to see if he
say that.
Yeah, for the job. But this is a team that we're one good offseason away from getting into the playoffs.
Yeah.
So we really did not have time to give Grubb another year of on the job training.
I don't begrudge McDonald making the decision to appoint him in the first place. The reason I don't is because I think anyone can have he could have had an amazing season. We could have been sitting here talking about him having an absolutely incredible play calling, you know, all that sort of stuff. So I think everyone deserves a chance. He was given a good chance. He had a good weapons on offense to work with, and he simply came up short. And that's just, you know, fact of life. But I'm sure that, and for his benefit, I think he's learned an absolute shed ton of lessons from us. And I've got no doubt that we'll see him back in the NFL at some point. But you know, just not for us and not right now.
It's also worth pointing out that last year we weren't able to hire Mike McDonald until January 31st.
Yeah.
So a lot of
that's true.
All the other head coaches had been hired. A lot of the other potential assistant coaches were off the board. So
great point.
This year, you know, first day after the season, bam, we're already talking to a few different guys. We're already bringing a plan. We'll have a lot more time to get that sorted out.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Matt on the whole thing that maybe if it had worked out, I don't know if him being a first year head coach was a factor as much as if he had worked out, it would have been great. You know, you never know. But I will say this. The best part of me about this, I was kind of neutral about the whole thing, and I still am. Something needed to be done. And this coach has getting a reputation already, McDonald, of not being satisfied with okay. That he wants, I mean, we are right now, like you said, we're an off season away from not just playoffs, But a playoff team that plays great defense and a running game, we all know where that could wind up. Let's be honest. And you have a really good chance in the playoffs if you have a great defense and a running game. We have that. We got to have someone offensively to show that. But the fact that McDonald just came in and immediately, I know you're out. I mean, to me, that shows me who's in charge, which is great. Show me who's in charge. He's not going to waste time. He's not going to put up with anything that's sub-exceptional. Anything that's sub-exceptional, he's not going to put up with it. We found that out during the bye week with the defense, and we found that out now in the offseason with the offense. He obviously, like you said, there were stories. He was ready to cut him immediately. I'm not going to say.
I don't think it's about establishing who is boss. I think it's about he has a clear vision of what he wants to do, and he has a clear standard of what that vision is going to be. And if you're not meeting the standard, then you're out. And he doesn't have tolerance for that, which is great.
Yeah,
and they did it with the linebackers. Mm-hmm. They also did it with special teams, if you remember.
Yes,
had the same thing. And then now the offensive coordinator. So he doesn't give people that long leash that Pete Carroll does.
Right. And
I think that's going to in the end suit us well.
Yeah.
Because Pete let people. He trusted his guys. He wanted his guys to succeed. In a business that's cutthroat, Pete almost cared too much.
He almost did.
Not at the start though. Remember his first year?
Right.
Brought in Lendale White. He shit canned him after a few weeks because he was loafing around in practice.
2 weeks.
That's kind of he kind of fell out of that towards the end. But at the beginning, Pete was the same way at the beginning, and I think that's a big reason why this team had so much success under Pete Carroll so quickly.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I think we're kind of heading the same direction with Mike McDonald. So
I think we are too. I don't think there's any question about it. It was a good move. I liked a lot of things that Grubb did. I know I didn't overall. I think you could look at the body of work and say yikes, but there were times during the games where I'm like, I love that call, and I've said that. I've said that during the games probably 2 or 3 times a game. I love that call. But yeah, you look at the overall body of work with the running and pass. When we have guys, our leading rusher this year had 600 yards, and it was injury related, but wasn't really because, I feel like between the two of them, I think between Charbonnet and Walker, they had almost 1,100 yards between the two of them. That's not exceptional.
We only ran 37% of the time.
Yeah,
I mean
that's what I'm saying. That's with forgetting that the run game existed.
Yeah,
for the game,
you can't. You unless you're the 2000 St. Louis Rams, you can't win football like that.
Yeah, but they also ran the ball too.
Yeah,
I mean that's just it. I mean, they did throw the ball a lot, but they also
Marshall Faulk was kind of good.
He was not bad. He was not bad. So there's the news. I think. Well, that's fair to say our news for the first quarter.
Yeah, we can make fun of Cleveland. Deshaun Watson rolled his ankle in Miami and just had to have a second surgery on his re-ruptured Achilles tendon and is almost certainly out for the 2025 NFL season as well.
Browns fans, awesome! Congratulations.
They've got a massive cap hit on Watson for the next 2 years. So great job, Cleveland.
Looking as one of the worst trades of all time.
Yeah, well. Not as bad as Russell Wilson to the Broncos that time. Do you remember that one?
I remember that one.
It was a bad one.
Yeah, that seems like years ago, like decades ago. Yeah, it was years ago.
Well, technically, it was years ago.
It was.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Deshaun Watson, Little Mo sent that to me, and I just thought, oh boy, here we go again. So a lot better than the
first.
That man will do anything for more physio time. So
my Achilles is located right here.
Yeah. I got an owie.
What else you got, Will?
Those are it. So
all right. Well, thank you so much for the news, as always.
Anytime, Moses.
That'll end the first quarter.
That's the end of the first quarter, bitches!
All right, this is our season wrap-up show. Not our season finale, our season wrap-up show. So we're going to wrap up the season. We're all wearing beanies. We're going to wrap.
Battle
raps at halftime.
Battle raps at halftime. Before we do that, we are going to talk about that Rams game. We ended with a win. in Los Angeles. And we'll talk about that right after this. This is the 12-Man Fan Jam Show. Hi, Greenland. We'll be right back.
It's the second quarter.
Yes, welcome to the second quarter of episode 1220. I want to say 2020. Episode 1220.
No!
The season recap. Get your mask of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show. This is our season review episode, and our finale will be on the YouTube channel the week after the Super Bowl. That's what we consider at the end of the season. So 12 years of doing this show. It's been a lot of fun. Tonight we're going to review real quick the last game of the season. Seahawks beat the Rams 30-25. And on a high note, 10-7 on the season. Dustin, your thoughts about that game? Do you remember?
Yeah.
Not that you know. I can hardly remember that game. I'm just saying it feels like it's been 3 years ago. So
Yeah, it's I mean, I'm glad we won. That was good. I anticipated it being much more lopsided since, like I said last show, the Rams are fielding like 14 players and they're playing offense and defense. They're playing both ways. But we made their backups look pretty legit. So it was frustrating in that regard. Like we should have outclassed them and we did not. No, we won, but kept it way too close. And I did enjoy. I really did like the trick play they did though with JSN and Charbonnet for that lateral, because they've been running that little. It's almost kind of an underneath screen all year to JSN, and they went ahead and added a little wrinkle to it and let Charbonnet get up the sideline. So that was pretty fun.
that was fun.
But pass rush was frustrating. Couldn't get to Garoppolo. I guess his aura was just too strong. People couldn't get close. I don't know. It was frustrating in a happy way because we won. I don't know how else to describe it, but I'm glad. I would not have wanted to see him get their ass kicked in the playoffs, and I have a very strong feeling that's probably what would have happened.
Yeah.
So because they did not perform well against good teams.
Yeah. Down to the fifth tiebreaker, which is just frustrating. We're down to the fifth tiebreaker. That's wow. That's crazy.
It is, and they had full control over that entire thing. You beat the Giants at home.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Will, your thoughts?
Well, interesting thing, Dustin, on that trick play, the lateral to Charbonnet. The way it's scored is Charbonnet gets credit for receiving yards from where he ran the ball after he got it, but he doesn't get credit for a reception. So since he didn't get any receptions in that game, his stat line was 0 receptions for like 32 yards.
Wow.
That is super weird.
What's that average? Sense. Infinity.
So it's just a little
that's funny.
Interesting note. But yeah, it would have been nice if Seattle had come out and smacked him down a little bit. I wish they could have sacked Pretty Boy a few times. But we got the win, and in so doing, we knocked the Rams down to the 4th seat. So now they got to face the Vikings in Glendale now, since they had to the game with the Fire.
It's unfortunate.
But you know what? I was glad that they didn't just mail it in. I'm glad that they cared about the game, even if they weren't even if they weren't as sharp as you would have hoped. But you know what? They came out, they fought hard against a bunch of Rams backups, but you know, they're there to play too. So it's nothing spectacular, but they got the win and they managed to avoid giving it away in the final minutes. So it was, in a lot of ways, it was kind of a fitting way to end the season, where it's just not what you expected, but not that bad.
No, not that bad. Matt, your thoughts?
Yeah, I share the frustrations with Dustin, really, because whenever you have to allow your team's hopes for the playoffs to rest with other things outside of your control, then you clearly have not done enough that year.
Yeah.
I agree
That's the whole point.
1,000%. I've always agreed that.
So it's always frustrating when it's the last, and it doesn't really mean anything. All you're playing for is pride, and all you're really playing for is see whether or not you can knock.
But I don't want to interrupt you. I'm going to let you finish. But Beyonce had the best video of the world. No, but that's why I've always said, like, when a team has, and this is before the Seahawks had a losing record and won the division. I don't care if you're 4-12. If you won the division, you did what you had to do to win the division. And if you're 14-2 and you're a wild card, I'm sorry, you didn't do what you had to do to win the division. So along that same mentality is about what you're saying, which I agree with. I mean, you don't want to put in someone else's hands. You're in control of that. And the rules are very clear. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, there's still some frustrating things in that game that frustrated me a little bit. So NFL still not really knowing what a catch is, having things overturned. And I'm sorry, that was a catch. He turned. He had the ball turned and was making his way up the field.
I think so. It could have been. Yeah.
I still don't accept that ruling at all. I think.
Well, there has to be a third step in that situation, and he didn't get to the third step.
I don't know. Football move.
I just think that's a lot of old bollocks, if you want me. I mean, that's just the NFL not really. I mean, again, there's a tuck. Anyway, anywho, it is annoying as hell, and I thought that was a catch. Can we stop a screen at some point?
Oh my gosh!
Can we please stop a screen? Anyone?
No.
We haven't done it under McDonald. We never did it under Tyrrell. We didn't do it under Holmgren, we can't stop a scrreen pass. I don't know what it is.
God,
3 in a row at one point, and they were getting 20 yards a screen.
Yeah. I think we saw some of that with those weird play calls as well. That 3rd and 1 where we dropped back 50 yards to get a yard, and I just don't think those ever end up well. I just don't see that as a good move.
It makes complete sense.
Leonard Williams though got a couple sacks. Seahawk interior defensive lineman with double-digit sacks in a long time.
Nice,
yeah, that's good.
Very nice.
The last thing I would say about this game, again, it's one that won't go down in the history books for many reasons, but ultimately it had Jimmy G and McVay on the field at the same time. So many babies were conceived over this last weekend. It's probably the best looking football game that we've had.
That's true. Little Mo, we were because I said we were 6 inches on the ground of snow, so I didn't go see the game with Little Mo, but we kind of talked during the game, chatted on text. And in that last drive with Garoppolo, I said, "What's your confidence level, 1 to 10?" He said 11. It's
11.
It's Jimmy. It's Jimmy G.
Jimmy G.
Sure enough.
Jimmy G.
Jimmy G did Jimmy G things. But I will say this. I mean, I understand we didn't get to him, but I thought every time we got to him, he looked awful. Like, if we made him scramble, he looked bad.
But he should look. I'm not being funny. And again, just take
his hair still look good
again.
Yeah,
he looked amazing. He looks good. He looks good looking bad. I mean, that's a talent.
That's hard to do.
But let's take this to go back to Dustin's point here. Is that we know he should look bad. He's the backup. We're playing everyone. We're playing as a backup on that field. So every one of them should have looked bad, but some of them actually looked pretty good to me. And there's a lot of depth in the Rams roster, I think.
I don't care if my 90-year-old mother is in a Rams outfit playing the Seahawks. If we beat the Rams by 1 point, we beat the Rams. I don't care who's in that uniform. Yeah. It's a good day.
But you can't. But you got to look at it, and you got at least got to be a reality and say, "Oh, I've got to get a picture of Dustin." Hold on a second. This is too good to miss because this game is so boring. Everybody.
No.
Dustin's fallen asleep. Fabulous. Just resting his eyes. His eyes. Oh, he's gone. But yeah, I mean, you can. But you've got to factor it in. I think it is important to know no one looked good in the game where first teams are playing backups, and we made them look like they were still Super Bowl contenders.
I looked at the scoreboard and I saw the Seahawks have more points than the Rams. I didn't care.
Just about at the end, they did. Yeah, that's right.
I did not care. All right. So, any final thoughts about that game before we move on? All right. So now it's time to look at the posse prediction. Wait. No, we don't.
I was gonna say no, we don't.
We do not look at the last game. I put the scores in, and on the next show during the fan jammies, you'll find out who won. Not just the teams, but in individuals where you all finished. So it'll be interesting to see how that turns out, because there were some tight races in that posse prediction challenge, and we were only up by 3 points, if you remember. So did we have enough to finish? Is there going to be an apocalypse, or
It's going to be apocalypse.
Last time we did.
Nobody told us those were the odds.
2020 if we win.
That's the stakes, everyone. We either win or there's an apocalypse.
We win and there's an apocalypse.
Yeah, so do better, Team 12.
Do better.
Yeah. Do better. Thank you, Melania.
12.
So it's a 3-point lead. We'll see where we go from there. So right now, we're just going to go right to halftime.
Holy shit, it's halftime!
All right, so the season for the Seahawks is over. It's time to talk about some of our surprises. We're going to grade some of the aspects of the Seahawks season. We're also going to talk about our favorite memories coming up from this season. But before we do all of that, it is time for halftime. It's not trivia this week. It is the nominations for our 12-Man Fan Jam Show award show, also known as the Fan Jammies. And those nominations are coming up right after this, so don't go away. Hi, Canada.
Yeah.
All right, it is halftime, and usually we do our 12-Man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia of the world. But
Of the world!
yeah, but this halftime is the season finale, and since it's the season wrap-up, I should say, we're going to talk about our Fan Jammies. We've been giving out awards of the world. We've been giving those out every year on this show. It's been a lot of fun. We ask you to take we show you the nominations. And we're going to go through this with everybody is to show you the nominations on the show. But also, if the posse thinks I should flip a couple, we can switch them before I put them out. There's only 3 nominations for each topic, so it's very hard to pick just 3. That's our Fan Jammy right there, by the way. And this is how you're going to vote on the Fan Jammies. You can go to our Facebook page, and I'll have each individual award on a separate thread, and you can just put your vote underneath there. You can go on X or Twitter and send me your thoughts there. You can email us, the 12-Man Fan Jam Show. There's a million ways you can get a hold of us for your award nominations. So let's get right to it. Offensive Player of the Year, I put Geno Metcalf. That's like Bruce Turbin.
I didn't know they got married.
Yeah. DK Metcalf, Geno Smith, or JSN. I don't think there's anybody else on the offense that kind of deserves mention. Obviously, we were top 10 passing this year. Metcalf and JSN, Lockett didn't have the big numbers, but Geno had big numbers. He was, what would we say? He was 4th in touchdowns or something.
Moses, we need to give this award to Anthony Bradford so Little Mo can announce it.
Absolutely.
We need to write in Anthony Bradford.
Yeah.
Is that going to be Anthony Bradford or any offensive lineman? Tight ends, we'll talk about those in a minute. We're decent, but not enough for Offensive Player of the Year. I think has anybody seen anybody that doesn't belong on that list?
No.
It's pretty decent.
Nah.
All right.
It's probably pretty accurate if it's only
3. So it's hard to pick 3. Defensive Player of the Year was a lot more difficult. I came up with Julian Love, Leonard Williams, and Devon Witherspoon. I felt like those were the 3 that consistently all year seemed to just be making a play every game. Jerron Reed could have been on here.
Reek Woolen, he was making plays every game. Unfortunately, they were not. No, he did not.
No, he didn't.
He made plays every game. A lot of them weren't good.
I think the only one that's arguably a snub would be Ernest Jones.
Yes, I agree with that. I agree. But I do think that Love and Williams and Witherspoon deserve it.
Oh, yeah.
And I think Jones is probably another one on this list, but I think these are a good 3. Devon Witherspoon just every game does something to just make me say, I'm so glad that kid is on his team.
Well, he made the Pro Bowl without a single interception this year. That shows how good of a player.
Amazing. Amazing. Julian Love is just a missile out of the backfield. Very underrated.
I'd almost go Jones over Love, though, because when Jones came in, that completely changed how the defense is playing, especially in the linebacker core. and he became a leader on the team, and it showed. I think he had a bigger impact on the defense than Love did.
What do you guys think? You think Jones is still Love?
I think you could put either up there, and I'd be happy with them. So you can do either one you like, Grid.
I think maybe you can make an exception in this category and have 4 instead of 3.
Okay.
Ooh,
I'll just add him.
ooh.
He's broken the rules.
My goodness.
Damn right, you know?
Our show, our rules. 4 it is.
Wow.
All right, next up we have underrated player of the year. This is a guy that I felt like maybe deserves some press he wasn't getting. AJ Barner, Michael Dixon, and Jerron Reed. Jerron Reed had a wonderful year. We don't see it, but wow, did he have a great year. AJ Barner, not only did he catch 4 touchdowns, but this guy was blocking people into the 3rd freaking row. I mean, he was doing all the little, and when he caught a ball, he never went out of bounds. How many times have you seen Barner catch a ball and just mow over someone for another 2 yards?
Yeah.
I love
fun.
that. Dixon, yeah, he's getting a lot of Pro Bowl mention, but Dixon had an amazing year. Jerron Reed had an amazing year. I couldn't think of anybody else. Those 3 I thought were the top underrated. Is there someone I'm missing underrated?
And Myers had a good year as well.
Myers had a good year. Even he was even able to get out of Little Mo's doghouse, which is saying a lot.
Well, I say he kicked at like 57s and almost a 59, didn't he? So I mean, I don't know.
Little Mo liked him so much this year. He wears his jersey.
I think I agree. I go back with Will's last thing. Let's put it up to 4. Let's put Myers on there as well.
That's what I'm writing down right now. We'll put Myers on there as well. Maybe I can find a 4th one to throw on the offense. I don't know.
Nah.
Well,
Right.
what I was for the offense, so the only one that I would say if you wanted 4 for sure, I think Charbonnet has a call to go on there because I think he's played hard. He took up the reins with Walker's injury, so put Charbonnet up there for a rusher. I mean, I think he's done well, and he's.
It could have been an underrated player too, but yeah, I like the idea of putting him.
Yeah, that is true. He stepped up a lot during the injuries and actually had I think yards per carry. I'm pretty sure he averaged more than Walker. I think of the 3, McIntosh, Charbonnet, and Walker, I think Charbonnet had more than Walker. Or Walker had.
But I think, and we'll talk about that later when we grade the team. But I think running back, I think we didn't lose a thing when K9 went out. I don't feel like K9 is a better athlete, but I didn't feel like. I mean, Charbonnet stepped right in. McIntosh stepped right in. I didn't feel like we lost anything in that running game, which is great.
But we're only using it 37% at the time.
That's right.
Yeah, fresh legs and whatnot.
Yeah. Next one up is the best new Seahawk of the year. This is a guy who was not in a uniform last year. Again, Barner, Tyrese Knight, and Ernest Jones. I can't think of anybody else to put that was not a Seahawk last year.
Jerome Baker. Oh, wait.
Tyree, the thing about Tyrese Knight, we haven't really talked about him. And Tyrese Knight, it was obvious that the coaches saw something in him in bye week. They got rid of the linebackers and they put him as a starter. And I thought he did a wonderful job at linebacker this year. And coming in, especially at the bye week, I thought he was really, really solid at linebacker. Of course, Ernest Jones was fantastic.
Didn't he struggle to stop a ball going over into the end zone though?
Yeah.
Last week.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't worry about that.
Hey, Little Mo!
Hey,
Little
Mo! Hey!
Hey!
Hey, Mo!
Hooray! Ho!
What's going on, Little Mo?
I almost died like 10 times on the way home.
But you made it.
Yes.
Good.
Lots of snow.
Lots of snow. We talked about it already.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, where you been?
Working slash trying not to die on the road.
He's been busy having his life flash before his eyes.
Oh,
Yep.
man.
It's a very short journey.
We're almost done with the nominations here, but then we're going to grade the team. But
F. Oh.
and then our last, I think,
F for his favorite.
Our last nomination would be Game of the Year.
Mm.
Seahawks beating the 49ers where Geno came down. That was a great game. I felt like the Seahawks and Falcons and the Seahawks and Cardinal game were games that both the offense and the defense played really well. So I wanted to get a game where they both played well. I think we could have picked a lot of defensive games. But I think as far as getting the offense to 30 points, and that Cardinals score, remember, that was a late score by the Cardinals. It was like 30-10 for a long time.
The only other one that could
put the
potentially
Bears game
go on there for just being
Bears game.
crazy was the Jets game.
The Jets game, yeah. I thought about putting the Jets game on there as well. I may throw that in there as the fourth one.
Did you guys hear about how sad it was that Deshaun Watson tore his Achilles again?
Yes, we
Yes.
did mention that. We talked about that.
How so sad it is, and how awesome, and everyone loves it. And I love Twitter today. It's been fun.
Oh no. Anyway.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh noes. Okay, well, those are our nominations, and how you can do that again if you want to vote is very simple. You can vote on the end of this, at the bottom of this this YouTube video if you want, where the little comments are. You can vote there. You can go to our Facebook page. I'll have each one in its own little thread, and I'll say 1 of 3, 2 of 3, or however many awards there are, so you can get all the awards voted on. And then you can go to Twitter, and I'll put them on Twitter as well. You can reply, just flag the Twitter and or email. You can vote. You can do it any way you want to.
I thought we were insisting on in-person paper ballots this year.
Well, we had troubles last year with the hanging chads, so we have to stop that. Yeah. So other than that, that's our award show.
Why are we hanging Chad? What did Chad do?
You know, he knows what he did.
Chad went to third quarter, not halftime. Chad went to the third quarter.
We don't.
All right, Chad's going to go to the third quarter, and we are going to grade the Seahawks. This should be a lot of fun. See what people grade certain parts of the Seattle Seahawks season in review. So this is the Reverend Moses saying, "Don't change that channel." Hola, Mexico.
And canceled.
I believe you mean the Gulf of America.
Oh yes.
Oh, yeah.
Or as,
Sounds like a bank.
or as Canada.
Holy shit, it's the third quarter!
Okay, it's the second half of the season wrap-up of your 12-man Fan Jam Show, episode 1220. I want to remind you, the award show will be the weekend after the Super Bowl, so be looking for that. That's our season finale.
Not going to be with us in the Super Bowl.
Nope. 12 years. That little joy is that little positivity lightning bug there is little Mo, who has joined us from work, and he's going to help us as we now grade the Seahawks. All right, here's how we do this. I'm going to give you a topic, and A, B, C, D, F. A pluses or minuses are optional.
Are we doing pluses and minuses, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to. So, our topics are we're gonna start with topic, and then we're gonna get ready, and then we're ready. Lil Mo's gonna tell us what he thinks because someone forgot to get their paper.
I didn't even know if I was gonna be here or not. Okay, Father.
All right, here we go.
You know what? Well, maybe you should be prepared just in case you're there. Okay?
It's show prep, sir.
It's called show prep.
All right.
Yeah, I don't get paid.
Right. All right, here we go. The first topic is the quarterback.
Oh boy.
Quarterback position.
This will be controversial.
Quarterback position. I think Dustin is frozen again. Someone get a picture. I'll get it.
Oh God, this is ridiculous. Hold on.
Do you guys see that the Rams had to move their game to Phoenix?
Glendale.
Says they won the division. They don't even have a home game.
All right, so little Mo.
What? Oh,
Will and Matt, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, little Mo, how would you rate the quarterback grade wise?
I'm gonna say a B minus.
B minus, okay. B minus. Everybody else reveal? I said C plus. He said C. Will? I can't see it.
It's a B.
B.
It's a B.
Dustin, how do you rate the quarterback this year?
About the same as his internet.
Yeah.
Sucks.
You can just tell us. B minus.
That's what I said.
I said C plus. The reason I said C plus because I feel like this is about as much as we're going to get out of Gino.
Well, here's why I said B minus.
Okay.
Is me and you we've talked about this.
Oh yeah.
I truly believe if you switched hypothetically, let's do a little hypothetical. If you switch Jared Goff on the Lions, on the Seahawks, and you put Geno Smith on the Lions, what did I just say? You put Geno Smith on the Lions, okay, and he's the starting quarterback. I still think they would have the same record as what they have now.
Okay.
And the thing is you got to think he had no offensive line. He made the offensive line look way better than it was. and he also had no running game for pretty much the whole season.
Okay.
And he had to pass the ball 50 times a game. And when you have to do that, people figure it out. Now, I'm not saying he's, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, but I think he got a little bit too much hate for how he had pretty much nothing on offense other than receivers.
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep in mind that Geno Smith's 2 offensive coordinators since he took over the starting role have been Shane Waldron and Ryan Grubb. So
I will retort with this. 5 red zone interceptions.
Yeah, I knew you were saying that.
$5 foot long.
But
Inexcusable.
when you can't run the ball and you can only pass the ball in the red zone, that's going to happen.
5 red zone interceptions.
Yeah, and my problem with him was kind of lack of understanding of the situation. There's times when he's throwing that ball and he's forcing it when you could have thrown it out of the back of the end zone and lived to fight another day. And you are a veteran in this league. It's not like it's your first year. You know better. You need to make better decisions.
And his better games was when he checked down as well. He wouldn't check down.
Well, guy, I gave it a B minus. I didn't give him an A plus. I gave him a B minus. I'm not
right. You're right.
saying
You're right.
But
Where I'm coming from with my C is I think he's got incredible numbers. I think he's able to do that when he has a good day. If Geno has a bad day, then you may as well just ungrade him because it's going to go all over the place. He's going to do the whole I'm going to sit on the bench and mope about silly decisions. He has a terrible ability to get rid of that short-term memory you need to have. He wraps himself up, as I say, on the sideline, doesn't walk around like a leader and try and boost people up, which at least Russell Wilson used to do as well. And
that's true. He had the memory of a goldfish.
Yeah. So and just to say,
and size.
From what Dustin said, I do think that you've got to be able to sit there and make better decisions when it comes to clutch moments, like not dropping back 15 yards, suddenly turning around and running the wrong way down the field outside of field goal range and getting sacked. Yeah, he's as you say. But I do agree with you, Lil Mo. I think, as I said, with also about Grubb as well, he does have very limited defense, if any, when he's in the pocket, and I think run and plays are only 37% of our game.
I think Geno's problem is when he tries to do too much.
Yep.
And this season he was put in a position where
he had to try
to do too much.
That's fair. That's fair. All right, let's move on.
Yes and no. I mean, here's the way I look at it: is he knew he had a rookie coordinator, didn't understand the NFL game. Geno's been in the NFL for about 42 years now. He understands the NFL game, right? But, so he has to know that I don't have this run game. It's probably not coming. I can check into other plays and whatnot. That's fine. But I have to understand that I have to control this game and how the offense works because the offensive coordinator is still learning. But
also, how many times?
Go
ahead. Oh, he froze. Okay, I'll go then. How many times did he have like 2 seconds and then all of a sudden he's got someone in his face and he's got to run around? That's the thing.
Yeah.
Well, the thing with Geno Smith is he has a gunslinger's mentality. He believes he can make throws.
Like a Jameis Winston.
He made several incredible throws this year. The problem
I think Jameis Winston's a perfect example.
That's what I mean. You remember the night game he had? I don't think it was Monday night, Sunday night, whatever. In the snow when he was, amazing. And then the next day he threw the next game he threw like 3 interceptions. Two
that's like the consistency of it.
And I will tell you right now, if I graded Jameis Winston, I give him a C+.
But I truly believe if you put Geno on the Lions, they would have the same record.
Okay.
But I grade him a C, but I don't suggest that we drop him. I don't think there's anyone out there who's, and certainly this is not a year for.
And we saw Sam Howell for a drive and a half.
I would definitely change him.
Well, if we drop Geno Smith, we would either have to swing a trade for like JJ McCarthy, which there's going to be
Geno Smith 2.0.
There's going to be a lot of teams pushing up JJ McCarthy's trade value, so I don't think that's a good we can make.
We hold Geno.
Or we're taking a step back while we build up the rest of the team.
I just don't see that. I don't see that happening. And I think I don't know we want to talk about it now, but I just think it's a case of we should hold Geno. We should invest more heavily in the offensive line. If we can give that man just a second more.
We won 10 games this year. Like
did,
it's not
but-
like we won 4.
But that's not all on.
Exactly.
But that's not all. But that's not all on Gino either, because
No,
sometimes
no,
we're playing some really crap teams that we deserve to win against. But I
But
think if
as
we
I'm
can
saying, you have
invest
to
in
retool everything.
Yeah.
no, if we can invest in the offensive line, if we can give him a
Yeah.
bit more time, then I
Agreed.
can see he's still got a little bit of value. But I do take your point though, Moses, is I do think we're kind of at the very top end of what Gino can give us RPM wise. I think he's kind of at the top end of his motor at the moment. So,
And
next
he's not
year,
getting any younger either.
he's not getting
Can
any
we
younger.
be a contender with a C+ quarterback? Is I think the
Yes.
next question.
Yes,
I
we
think
can.
so.
With the
I think so,
defense,
too.
with the defense where it's at.
I
In
think
a
so.
running game, if we
I
can get a
think
running
so.
game eventually,
The Ravens won a Super Bowl with one.
Yeah.
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 So speaking of
and
that,
it was made one.
let's go to
Can
the
I
next
ask
one.
Can I ask what Little Mo's response was when my internet?
Oh, all I said was how many
Fucking-
times did he have like 2 seconds and then all of a sudden he's got someone in his face? Because that happened a lot.
Yeah, that's a different story though. But there's also plenty of times when he had time to throw the ball and he
kind of
yeah,
agree.
and he waited too long, or he freaking in the red zone, especially when the field got shorter, just made poor decisions.
Yeah.
And he's got to recognize, like I said, being a veteran in this league, he's got to recognize that there's times when he's got to be able to play smarter.
And we can settle. And we can settle for
smarter than his
threes.
coordinator. Almost smarter than his coordinator, honestly.
Yeah, right.
And
All
you
right.
gotta know we can settle for threes, and we don't have to
Yeah.
get sevens every time. And that's what he tries to do.
All right. At this rate, this will be an hour-long quarter, but that's okay.
Well, you chose a really controversial
I
one,
did.
so
Right
Yeah.
off the bat. Here's an easy one: running back. The running back position. Yeah, this one will probably be quick. Little Mo, how would you grade the running backs?
not off of what I think they can be, but what they did this year, I'm gonna say D+.
Okay. I said B+. What did you guys say?
What?
C, B, B+. Yeah. Why D+, Little Mo?
So we didn't have a running game.
Yeah, but is that their fault when they played?
They didn't
That's
have a
what I'm
running game.
getting with. I have the B+.
I
because it's
said
not their fault.
what I answered. I said it's not what I think they can be. I still think Kenneth Walker's a top running back in the league. I still think Charbonnet is a very good backup running back. But for this year, our running game was awful.
But given their opportunities, what little opportunities they had this year, don't you think they played pretty well?
We had a 30th rushing attack.
I think
I know,
the
but whose
debate
fault
here-
is that? We ran the ball 30% of the time.
Yeah, I think what's going on here is, Dennis, you're thinking of running backs and he's graded on running game. Two
Yeah.
different things.
Yeah.
And I was kind of doing the
anybody
same thing. I was grading on running backs. That's
Yeah.
what I was grading on.
I was
When they had their opportunities, they did what they could. They played pretty well for the most part. They just weren't
Yeah.
given a lot of opportunities.
Now I'm looking at that. I'm looking at how well they played. I'm not blaming them that they only got the ball 30%.
I'll tell you
of the
this,
time.
though. It's getting very concerning with Kenneth Walker getting hurt a lot.
Yeah,
It is.
That's
Yes,
becoming
sir.
a concern.
I was just going to say that. I was going to basically say this season was a wash because we hardly ran the ball and didn't have much of a line to run behind.
Yeah.
Big question going into next year. Last year of Walker's rookie contract, can he stay healthy? Can he earn a
New contract. Yeah.
And a big caveat with that's going to be, too, there's probably going to be an increased load on the running back core. Also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I put him as a C. The reason, and I kind of mix both the running backs and the running game, to be fair, because
Sure.
I think for me, I think there were shining moments of brilliance. I think some of Charbonnet's runs were exciting to me. They're very Marshall-esque in many ways, providing he can find a lane to get down.
True.
I think Mitchell was also good, but I mean, yeah, you're right. But then we didn't see K9 because of injury, which isn't really his fault. But you know what I mean. I just think that the moments of brilliance, but not enough for me to say that they're in the top echelons of the
I
show.
understand. It's hard to grade a running game because they really weren't given a fair shake.
Yeah.
Here's who was the wide receivers. How would you grade the wide receivers this year? Not necessarily the passing game, but just the wide receivers. JSN, Lockett, the whole crew, Bobo. Little Mo, how would you grade that core this year?
I'm going to say it's tough. It was tough because DK had games where he just didn't do shit, but then he had games where he was amazing. Jason was good all year. Tyler Lockett decided to stop playing football pretty much. I'm gonna say A-.
A-. All right, everybody else, what do you got? I gave an A. A B, an A-, an A. Why a B, Matt?
Well, there are some elements of the wide receiver stuff which I wasn't overly happy with. I don't think Lockett should have necessarily taken a back seat for anyone, to be frankly honest. The bloke has got real talent and should be on the line as often as possible.
He should be
out there. I mean, the bloke makes catches like they're like falling out of the air into his arms, and they're able to do those tippy taps in and keep him. All of that stuff I wanted to see more of. JSN's been exciting to watch. DK frustrates the hell out of me at times because he's an excellent player who seems to lose his mind at the most inopportune moments, which I think from a wide receiver, and I know all wide receivers are pretty much divas, but someone needs to knock the diva out of him. Because
this year he only had one penalty, I think, of post play.
But headbutts and stuff is just not.
I agree. I agree with
technically, he had 2 on the same play. They only.
That's true.
No, I agree with you. I was just saying he was better than he was last year. At least
I just think, but if you were a rookie, you can get away with it. You're not a rookie anymore, DK. Grow the fuck up. And so
he had one though that. So he had the one outburst that he earlier in the season where he's on the sideline. He took the headset from somebody.
Yeah.
And I completely, if what they said, he said,
those past the sticks, right?
I completely agree with him. Like,
but there are ways of still communicating that to your coaches and to others that actually you're frustrated.
Yeah, the headset
without making yourself. But in any event, I think there's elements of Prince. I think JSN has been a breath of fresh air, and watching him play has been really fun. But I do miss Lockett as third down man. It's kind of like when we were missing Doug Baldwin that time when if you wanted a third down, you just threw it to Doug Baldwin and Doug Baldwin made it happen. I kind of feel like that's what's missing with Lockett.
I will say I feel like a couple plays every single game where Geno had 6 seconds in the pocket and nobody got open.
That's true.
I don't know if that's the offensive coordinator.
That's true.
I'm putting some of this on Ryan Grubb because I don't think he put DK Metcalf. I don't think he utilized DK Metcalf.
Great point.
On the kinds of routes that he works best on.
Yeah, I agree. All right.
If you have 6 seconds and nobody's open, something's
going on.
That scheme was not right on that play.
With 3 really good receivers too.
And then
I agree.
And then he wouldn't throw it away. Then he'd throw an interception instead. After those 6 seconds.
Right.
We're not talking about Geno anymore, okay?
No. All right, tight end. How the tight end?
I like me some tight end.
Complimentary
How tight ends look this year?
Love me a tight end.
Little Mo, how do you?
Whose tight end are we talking about?
I'm gonna say B plus.
B plus. All right. Everybody else, I said B. B. Dustin, C plus. Dustin, why C plus?
It's probably mostly about quarterback play, to be honest. But they weren't featured very much. They weren't.
Yeah, I agree.
Noah Fant was injured a lot. Was it early on in the season? Freaking Barner was a surprise, and I liked watching him play. And he, like I said, 4 touchdowns or whatever, and he kind of came on late. And I did like how he ran through people. I like the mentality. There wasn't a lot of pizzazz, whatever, with the time.
Yeah. No, I agree with that, but I will say a lot of Barner had some amazing blocks. There was some runs
we were talking about that during halftime.
Yeah, there was some.
Dustin's frozen again.
There was some ones that happened because of him. So he did some stuff that didn't show up on the stat sheet. Now, Pharaoh Brown can never put on a Seahawks uniform again. I'd be okay with that. But if we can get the Noah Fant of the final game, every game, that'd be nice. But
I think he was playing pretty well this year. I think he was not playing bad this year.
As I always say, this. I love being a tight end. I love the versatility of a tight end. I love what they can do with you with the blocking up. They just make plays happen that otherwise wouldn't happen. Well, there's other reasons for that, but let's not go down that route. But in terms of the tight ends issue, we didn't use them very much. But again, I wonder if a lot of this comes down to more than anything as to he was battling with trying to get his own wide receivers being used, let alone the tight ends.
Right.
But when we did see the tight ends, I think they were able to sort of.
But I say Barner as a two-way type of tight end was really good. Good. I think we didn't have many. I said he would be plus because we didn't like Dustin said we didn't have many plays for them, but when they got the ball,
what we saw of them, I think was a B. But we just need more of that and not less.
They weren't really featured, essentially.
Yeah, that's fair.
They need more of that.
This will be a fun one. Offensive line. Offensive line. I can't imagine what Little Mo's going to say here. Little Mo,
D minus because the only reason it's not F is because of Charles Cross.
I'm
and
going with
Abraham
a D
Lucas.
for a very similar reason.
And the tackles were fine, but
A D minus. Is there a grade lower than F?
In the UK, yes, U for ungraded.
One thing I did like, I do agree that our tackles, Charles Cross had a decent year. Lucas, when he was healthy, had a decent year.
Yeah.
We did see a couple of young rookies who, they need to improve, but they
Looked
stepped
good at
out there and they
times,
managed to hold their own. And Lamoa, and then Mike Gerald, who was playing for University of Findlay last year.
Yeah, right.
And ended up starting at tackle for us for a couple of games.
Right.
although Atimi looked decent.
So
But-
we've got some decent
The
young
guards, Jesus Christ.
decent young players that I think are going to be good depth pieces for us, but we definitely need to we definitely need to improve big time.
And I think we'll see that. I think we'll definitely see that.
Well, that has to be the biggest investment zone we have from
Guards, interior.
Yeah.
Interior.
All right, let's switch things up. Defensive line. Line.
Now, does this include like linebackers that rush the passer?
No.
Okay. So does not
Your
include
front
Bama.
four. Your
So
front four.
Not Mafe, not Derek Hall.
Well, I'm going to say Mafe and Hall.
Well, they
are
kind
edge
of
rushers.
kinda
Defensive line
use
and edge
them
rushers.
Yeah, because
Defensive line and
coverage
edge
linebackers.
rushers.
Okay.
What you got, Lil Mo?
The B plus.
B plus. I had B plus.
Hey.
You got A. I like the A's. B minus. Why B minus?
I don't feel like there was enough, especially in key games when it counted. There was not enough penetration, not enough pressure on the quarterback. There wasn't enough tackles for loss. And when you're not able to get into the backfield and create havoc, you're not able to win games.
Lil Mo, were we fourth in the league in pressures?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I said in
Dumb
key
bitch.
games.
No, I'm just kidding.
I'm saying in key games.
No, I'm just
situation.
But I'm saying fourth in the league in pressures is pretty good.
Yeah, that is good, but you have to do it when it matters.
I understand.
And it felt like more often than not, when it mattered, they weren't able to get it done. And that was something that I was hearing about freaking Murphy this year. It's like he made a lot of tackles. He was good in the running game, but most of those tackles that he made were after the running back had already passed the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Like if he could actually get some penetration and get back there and have some tackles for loss, that would have had a huge impact on the game.
I think he's going to be fine. You're right. I think he struggled this year, but I think he's going to be fine. I think Byron Murphy's going to be okay.
Well, it's a tough.
I don't think he's.
tough position for a rookie to come in.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he struggled. I'm just saying there was so much room for improvement. And when you draft somebody that high, you expect him to maybe perform a little better.
That's fair. All right. What about the linebackers?
Which half of the season?
What are you talking about?
That's a good.
Overall.
Oh man, that's tough. I didn't even think about that. I'm ready. Are you ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to say B just because of the first half of the season.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Second half of the season, I would give an A, honestly.
C. I'm going B plus. Maddie, C. Why is C? Will?
I'm averaging what we saw the first half of the season with what we saw the last half of the season. I mean, we lost too many games because of guys like Jerome Baker and Tyrell Dodson not getting it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're thinking there, Mr. My Internet State.
Oh, he's frozen again. Let's grab that picture. Hold on.
I hate you all.
All right. Defensive backfield. That's safeties. That's cornerbacks. That's nickelbacks. That's all those guys back there.
Secondary.
Now you remind me.
Little Mo, what you got?
A plus.
Okay. Everyone else, I got an A. B's. Why B, Matt?
Why are we always 10 yards off whenever the ball is thrown and the secondary is involved? Why are our players always still in zone formation and not able to change to man in order to be able to shut down the yards after pass? That's the thing that annoys me. I'm having a go at any of them. I think their interceptions great, fantastic. I think they do get pressure. I do think they're almost an A for me. I just wish they were able to transfer from zone to man better in order to shut down the yards after
all four of them should have had a chance to make the Pro Bowl this year.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All four of them played Pro Bowl level.
Yeah. Dustin, what was your grade for the defensive backfield?
Defensive backfield, probably B plus, I'd say.
That's fair. I had
I
A.
think I think Witherspoon played really well. Love played really well. Jenkins, a couple other guys played played really well. I think Woolen did not. I thought, given that Grubb coming in and having this defensive coordinator and whatnot, the way that I anticipated him, I thought Reek would thrive more. And more often than not, in big games, again, this big game situations, he just made mistakes and dropped the ball and screwed up left and right.
And Mike McDonald flat out said it's not a talent issue, that's a focus issue.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And he's been in the league a few years now.
And he was kind of sat out that one game a little while.
And I think this is a mentality mindset. As mindset is mentality, but it started. It was like last year when we missed the playoffs, season sucked, and a lot of those guys are in there smoking cigars and celebrating. After the fact, they said, "Well, that's because we're celebrating. Was it a baby being born or something, right?"
Yeah.
For one of the players, but you have to be aware of what's happening. You have to be focused in. You have to be keyed on. You have to understand what you're doing and what's happening, right? So bad look. And then you go into this season, right? And Reek just makes mistakes in big games left and right. And I personally didn't hear him take any accountability for anything he did. I don't know if I missed something, but I didn't hear any accountability. It's like, dude, you have to recognize you're a problem. You're making mistakes. You have to own them.
Well, no, there was accountability because they set him out for a game. Remember?
I'm saying
that was him, though. Yeah.
Self-accountability. You have to have that. You have to be honest with yourself, recognize where your flaws are, own them, and get better.
I'll say Job was a nice surprise.
Yes.
He was a nice surprise.
Trey Brown, on the other hand,
yikes,
is gone.
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant was also a nice surprise because he played very
Kobe Bryant
well.
was a great surprise.
Kobe was great. Kobe was great.
Rayshawn Jenkins was
Yeah. All right, here goes Lil Mo's favorite, the kicker.
Remember, I don't hate him anymore. Remember, I'm off that.
I know. Grade the kicker, Little Mo.
A.
Just the kicker or the special teams?
Wait, kicker or special teams?
Just the kicker.
Oh.
I guess a B plus.
Yeah, that's what I said. What'd you guys say? Yeah,
I'm right on. I'm on board with that.
The only complaint I have about him is that he missed like 3 extra points. And that's
he does.
But I thought he had a great year. A lot of 50-plus yard field goals. Solid year. Enough to get Lil Mo to game out of his back. And then what about the punter?
You ready?
Yeah.
Like always, an A plus.
Oh, yeah. I think we got the best punter, maybe. Yeah. I love John Ryan, but holy cow.
Holy cow.
Okay, what about the new head coach? Grade your new head coach on this season. 10-7.
Just missing it though. It's not like you missed a bad lot. I'm gonna say an A because he had a brand new everything, and we still had 10 wins.
I like that thought. I'm gonna go
brand new everything.
I'm gonna go A minus.
Defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, assistant coach, head coach.
Yeah, I think
that's what happens when you change coaching. That's what happens when you have a new head coach. Yeah, that's par for the course.
This year was a shakedown cruise.
And we won 10 games.
One more, we're done.
You do win 10 games, and but I think offensive coordinator was a huge problem. He never got that under control.
He also made changes. How many times did someone suck and release them? D. Williams and Laviska Shenault, and then the linebackers.
Yeah.
I did like that. But the offense underperforming for me does not allow me to give him an A.
Yeah, and he doesn't get an A for that either. And I think, are we in the playoffs? No. So therefore, you can't get an A.
That's why it was
honestly, I think B is a good grade for a first time.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, last one. This season, grade the 12s.
The fans?
Grade the 12s this season.
Ooh. It was loud when we were there, I'll say that.
It was loud when we were there.
But man, some games.
What do you think, Lil Mo?
C.
I said C minus. C, average. D, disappointed. B, I'm disappointed in the 12-man this year, quite frankly.
I agree.
Too many
We were
crowd
amazing.
chants from
Here's
other
another thing
teams.
too. We were amazing on the road. We were amazing on the road.
7-1.
Decent at home, we would have made the playoffs.
Decent at home.
That Packers game is going to go down in infamy.
Absolutely.
Oh, the Bills game. The Bills game. Jesus.
The Bills.
Yeah. See, that's why there was some games
that hurt.
But then there was also some loud games. It's like.
So I put C- because it's below our average of what we expect from our 12s, I think, overall. There was too many former Oh, he froze again, guys. No, he didn't. Watching him.
No, I was just annoyed.
Okay. Yeah, below disappointed. I'm glad you put D for disappointment, Dustin, because I think it was disappointing.
Yeah.
I'm blaming Will mostly because he's the only one that shows up consistently with season tickets right now. So
way to go, Will.
Get your people right, Will. Get your people right.
Well, I tell you what, a 10-7 season.
I got a responsibility for 68,000 people. Great.
But I also think that coming off a 10-7 season, we're going to see more people coming to the games and not selling their tickets. I think the anticipation, we're a new team with a new coach and a rebuilding. So I don't want to go.
I don't care. There's no excuse for.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying. I think it's going to be better next year. I think the fan base will be better next year.
I don't. I honestly don't. And I say disappointed in the 12s, but it has everything, 100% everything to do with the ownership and how they price tickets. People can sell their Bills and Packers tickets and basically pay for their season tickets.
Yeah.
So
that's the Cardinals home game this year. My tickets were $75 a seat.
Mm-hmm.
The Packers game, $270 per seat. I sat down in the south end zone for that game with Neil Kiltman was in town, my friend Dino, also from the UK.
Yep.
I sold them to the guy next to me. Known him for years. He brought Seahawk fans. I did not sell to Packer fans. Let's just get that out there. But
proud of you.
I still had to take for two face value for those two seats was $540. I had to drop the price to $450 to get it. If I'd put it on Ticketmaster when they came out, I could have gotten a ton more money, but they would have gone to Packers fans.
Oh yeah,
So it's tough.
But can I just say, none of this is new. And as somebody who has to buy those tickets in order to be able to see a game, when I the Patriots game, for example, where my ticket price I think was £675.
Yep.
So that was $700 and something over there. That's not new to me. But I do agree that there are things that the Seahawks, and I said this before on a previous program, there are things that the Seahawks organization could do if it wanted to ensure that it takes the marketplace away from people like Ticketmaster and hold those tickets and make sure that they have as many Seahawks fans in that building. If we believe, and I'm sure everyone does because the stats show it, that a home field advantage with a loud Seahawks home base crowd has a huge impact on a game, which we can prove.
It does.
It's in the Seahawks' own best interest to come up with an internal market that says you can't sell your tickets on Ticketmaster. We're not doing that. You can only sell them through our reputable marketplace, and we'll do that this way. And that means that we'll always have preferential treatment towards Seahawks fans.
Real quick story. I worked with a guy
before Dustin wakes up.
Before Dustin wakes up. I worked with a guy a few years ago who played for Purdue. He played defensive back for Purdue. And I said, I got to ask you this. I said, because people say, well, that, they tune that noise out. They don't care. They're professionals. And so I said, I got to ask you about, the 12s are known for being loud. I said, does it really affect and he said, yes. I said, absolutely. He said, dude, I was in Michigan. I heard 3,000 people. And I was so lost in that game because of the crowd.
Well, who is that guy? Who is that guy that played for the 49ers who said, I'm a guard and I'm right next to the center and I can't hear him?
Staley. Staley said, they said, how loud are the 12s? I'm guard and I can't hear him. I'm right next to the center. But before I could even finish with Tank, he said, his name was Tank.
Oh, I loved
it. Tank said, oh, absolutely. It's a factor because he's played in Big Ten games. So he's played in front of those loud crowds. And he said, oh, absolutely, it's a factor. He said, don't let anybody tell you different.
before my internet cut to shit there again, Matt was talking about how the Seahawks ownership can do things to help mitigate that issue. And I was telling my wife about this not too long ago because I was frustrated about seeing that stuff, right? And she's like, well, how the hell can they control that? And I was like, well, funny thing you asked, or funny thing you mentioned that. It's harder in an NFL stadium, obviously, but the Oklahoma City Thunder, they were doing that during their playoff games several years ago, where they had like geo blockers essentially. Like if you lived outside a certain area, you could not purchase tickets for those games. You can set up things like that. And then if people like were in the front row and they were wearing another team's jerseys, they were like, okay, here's your options. You can wear something that doesn't represent a team, or you can wear an Oklahoma City Thunder shirt. And those are your options. By the way, you got to buy the shirt.
Yeah, there are totally things that the Seahawks organization can do if they really wanted to, and I think because of the fact that the stats clearly show that a strong home field advantage is in the team's best interest, they should do so. And even if it is the case that you don't allow your tickets to be sold on Ticketmaster at all, then everyone should know that if you buy them from there, you're buying them illegally, and if you're caught, those tickets will be removed from you and you'll be refused entry. So if you've just paid $400 for them, you ain't getting in. But equally, you could simply give them tickets or sell those tickets back to the Seahawks at an agreed price. You could all do it very simply, and the Seahawks will sell those tickets for you via the Seahawks organization the same way that any other Premier football team or in the UK, for example, does it that way.
Problem is the Seahawks cannot dump Ticketmaster because Ticketmaster works with the NFL.
This is it. But this is where
it's an NFL.
But then we go back to the whole thing, which what should be happening is the ownership should be going to the NFL commission and saying, I'm really sorry, Goodell, it's not good enough. We're not having it. It's not going to be playing that way. We're going to get people involved and we're going to make sure it happens.
Goodell doesn't run the NFL. The owners do. They just allow him to
so the ownership
enforce their policy.
To ownership. Back to ownership. We want this to change and make it happen.
You need a majority of owners to make it happen, though.
Right.
So,
but again, I think if you can tell a majority of owners that they have more chance of winning football games at home,
they don't give a fuck about that.
Some of them do. Some of them do. You only need.
It's all about. I just think there's a limit to what the Seahawks can feasibly do. I don't think they can just wipe away the current system and say, okay, this is how we're doing it.
You've got to come up with a proposal and see.
Or I mean, if that's not an option, you could always do it kind of organically, like what a Hawk blogger was trying to do. Brian Nemhauser, yeah.
His problem was he started it too late. I mean, it was like a week or two before the Packers game. Everybody who had sold their seats had sold them months.
Months before. You have to be at the beginning.
Yeah, if he's on board with that, trying to go into the season, and he wants to promote that, man, I'd be all over trying to. If I could help anyway, I'd be all over trying to help that.
I think there's a better chance of some sort of unofficial ticket network catching on than the Seahawks being able to make any substantial changes.
Yeah, you too.
So, but
until that time comes. We have graded the Seahawks, and we'll hope that something changes next year with the fans. Uh-oh. Is he sleeping? Hey, Matt. Good camera.
Got it.
I gotta hurry. All right, and that's the end of the third quarter.
Yeah,
all right. One last thing coming up. We're going to talk about our favorite memory from this season. And then we'll end our season wrap-up with only our season finale left, which will be the weekend after the Super Bowl. So get ready for the fourth quarter, the last quarter of our season wrap-up show. That's coming up right after this. This is the 12-Man Fan Jam Show.
Hi, Gulf of America.
Hi, everybody.
It's the fourth quarter, bitches!